Hello, I'm Wenham-Jones. I'm a novelist and the author of the Wannabe a Writer books on how to get published. I'm also an agony aunt for aspiring writers, and from my own experience and theirs, I know how tough it is to get into print. So what is it that makes a bestseller? In this series, we'll be answering that question and helping 6 would-be authors get a little closer to their dream of getting published. So do you want to be a writer? $150,000 new books are published in the UK each year, and thousands more are self-published as ebooks. But very few hit the big time. There are hundreds of thousands of other people who dream of being published, who are working on books right now that may never see the light of day. So that's why I'm going to be giving a selection of unpublished writers the chance to meet top literary agents, best-selling authors, to have their work critiqued, and maybe, with a bit of luck, see their books on these very shelves. So, let's meet our first wannabe. Delphine Lever lives in Ramsgate on the Kent coast. She's a mum of 4 and works as a registrar conducting marriage ceremonies. She's been writing her first novel, You Are My Sunshine, for 8 months.
I entered a competition and I won a competition, and when I won the competition I thought, perhaps I could write something for someone else to read, and that's how it started. Being published would be a dream, getting that far would be a dream, writing the book.
So tell me, in your own words, who your novel's about.
Right.
And a little bit about her.
Okay, it's about a girl called Lola. Lola's 18 and something's happened to her, but you don't know what at that point. So she's 18, but then I felt in order to explain Lola, because she's quite damaged, I needed to go back and I needed to explain her parents and her upbringing. I felt it was so important. It'll all make sense, hopefully, because she is so damaged by what's gone on in the past, and it's really important for people to understand and to feel for her in that way, because she's going to do things that aren't nice, and so I want people to feel for her. So that's why I felt it was important to explain that. Does that make sense?
Oh, I'm not sure it does, Delphine, but we'll have to see.
Her name was Lola. She was a showgirl. She knew this because her mum, Sandra, had sung it to her every day. On good days she'd suffer a couple of bouts of the Barry Manilow classic, but on bad days Sandra was well capable of belting it out over and over and over again. Lola knew how much her mum had loved Barry. She definitely loved him more than her, and in the end more than life itself. Lola often wondered what her life would have been like had her mum been into the Kinks. With each passing year Lola despised her name more. It didn't fit her. Now it's got to the point where I could actually get some proper feedback about what I've written. That feels really important now to me.
Today I'm taking Delphine to London to meet Carol Blake, a top literary agent who's just celebrated 50 years in publishing. Carol is also the author of a book for wannabe writers called From Pitch to Publication.
Yeah, very.
Are you?
Yeah, I am nervous.
It is difficult because it's a little bit like showing your baby to somebody.
Yeah, and because, like I said earlier, I haven't shown it to anyone or given it to anyone to read, not even friends really. So it's, I suppose I am. But I mean, I'm still looking forward to it.
Well, it's a great opportunity. I mean, you're going to get some real professional advice and real expert eye on it.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good.
So how are you feeling now?
All right, good. Yeah, you're making me nervous. You're making me really nervous, but I'm all right. Yeah.
So here we are at the offices of Blake Friedman, whose stable of writers sell their books in tens of millions. Clients include the best-selling crime writer Peter James, Joseph O'Connor, Sheila O'Flanagan, Barbara Erskine, Jane Asher and Lucy Mangan. Let's go.
I'm looking for something to tell me that the writer knows what they're doing with their material. I'm looking for a voice, and then I'm looking for characters in the material.
And how many manuscripts are you getting across your desk each year?
I can't do the sums per year, but I get about 5 or 6 a day on paper. It's dwindling, thank God, because we want them all by email now. I get about 20 a day by email. Every agent here does. So, you know, you do the maths, and I've only taken on 2 clients in 6 years.
Oh, poor Delphine.
So, how long have you been writing?
Not long. I've been writing for my own pleasure since I could sort of write, really. Just diary entries, and
But you haven't submitted very much?
I've never submitted anything.
Oh, really? Right.
No, and this is I've only written this because I won a writing competition in the summer.
Have you thought the whole story through?
I have
Do you
now.
know how
Yes,
it ends?
I have. But it doesn't really end. It sort of could go on. But I know to the end of this.
They have to end somewhere.
Well, it ends, but it's going to have more that could happen to it eventually.
So you're going to write a sequel?
Yeah, if I felt like it. But there's a end to this.
Whose story is it? Who's the central character?
Lola.
Because I don't know that from the material I've read.
I know.
Because you start off by saying her name was Lola, she was a she-dog, which is nice because we all know the song.
Yeah.
But then there's 22 pages of Sandra.
I know, and the reason for that...
She keeps interrupting. Carol won't like that.
Because I really felt that I needed to describe why Lola is so damaged.
You need to know. You don't always have to tell us. Or you don't have to tell us in this form.
Right.
An awful lot of first manuscripts that I read have the same problem.
Right.
The writer has to write their way into the character. And so they start back here.
Yeah, and I don't need to.
Whereas actually you need to know that so that you can tell us maybe in little bits later on. But you must start with the story, you must start with the central character. I think you need to know how it ends before you know how to begin it.
Yeah.
Because you've got to know what you're aiming for to know whether you're going to be able to get there or not.
Yeah.
And so much of a storyline, so much of a satisfying ending has to be seeded in right from the beginning. You have to know what you're aiming for. You want to know what emotion you want to leave your readers with at the end. So you've got to know how to set it up. And at the moment, this looks like it's all about Sandra.
Yeah.
And then I'm left wondering when we're going to get to Lola, because it's absolutely clear from that first paragraph that the novel is supposed to be about Lola. But at the moment, it's all about Kevin.
Yeah. Yeah. I personally felt you couldn't explain Lola without explaining her background.
But you don't have to explain her background right at the beginning.
Yeah.
You've got to introduce us to the character that the book is about, so that we're sufficiently interested in her to want to keep reading.
Yeah.
And then there's all kinds of devices for bringing in her background later.
Yeah.
I think one thing that you should do is start off with Lola. We might need to see her in a distressed situation. We might need to see the results of what she's done first. Yeah. But then you can go back. You can maybe even, put in a flashback or something. Although you have to know what you're doing to handle flashbacks. But the other issue, which I think you need to get sorted out right at the beginning, is that you switch within scenes. You switch from one character's point of view to another.
Right. Okay.
And it's an absolute no-no. It's almost like switching points of view in a film. You know, you've got to know whose scene it is and whose eye the reader is really seeing that scene from or through.
So would you have it from one point of view throughout the whole of a chapter then, or would you?
No, a scene. You can move from one scene to another within chapters, but you've got this opening meeting between the two of them. The parents of Lola, not even Lola. And you switch backwards and forwards. You see Kevin's point of view of Sandra, and then you see Sandra's point of view of Kevin.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Not sure that you do, but
Told you she's getting a bit stern now.
I do see what you mean, but it's sort of how I suppose it's just because.
do you read much fiction? If you want to be a published writer, you have to read.
Yeah, I do read.
Because then what you need to do, you need to read and analyse it. You need to think, why is this author successful? Why is this novel? Why is this novel keeping my attention? Why am I still turning the pages?
Yeah.
You have to step back and think, okay, so we're seeing all this from the woman's point of view. It's not until the next chapter we get the man's view version.
Yeah.
Because I think once you start analysing it, you'll see what I mean more clearly.
Because I'd just done that short bit, I didn't really know what to do after that, and because this is the first bit of writing I've ever written that's not, well, that maybe be for someone else and not just for me, if you see what I mean. I didn't really know what I was doing.
Oh dear. After all that, I'd better buy Delphine a drink.
Thank you.
Deserve it.
Cheers.
Cheers. You were looking a bit glum in there. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm alright. I think I was just sort of taking on board what she was saying, and it was sort of what I knew, and what I expected maybe. Quite a lot, there's a lot to think about. When she was saying you jump from character to character, and I said, I know what you're saying, when she said, I don't think you do, and really in real life I'd have questioned that.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't like being spoken to like that. I think it's rude.
We'll work on that first character, first page, establishing the heroine, establishing the conflict. I know just who to take you to.
Good. Yeah, good.
There's something I'm hoping you're going to do for me. Are you free next week? That'd be fabulous. There's somebody I want to bring to see you. Somebody who needs a bit of advice. Oh, that'd be great. It'd be lovely to see you again. Get the champagne in the fridge. In part 2, Delphine gets help from a top novelist. And she goes back to Carol to see if her work could now stand a chance of being published. If you want to put your writing through the ringer, do get in touch. We'd love to hear from you.